Well, I'm really excited to talk to you about your life as we gear up to celebrate your 100th birthday, 100 years.
That's amazing.
And I thought maybe we could start here with one of your scrapbooks, because this says right here, Miriam Maxine, born March 9th, 1922. So tell me, tell me who this is right here.
Well, that's me.
That's you?
I'm pretty sure that's me as a baby, just born.
And who's holding you?
That's my dad,
What's your dad's name?
Barney.
What's his full name?
Barney Hellard, no.
Barney Hillard Buten?
Yes.
Okay, and then who is this lady right here?
Yes, that's my mother.
And what was her name?
Mildred Pace Buten.
Mildred Pace Buten.
Buten.
And did she have a nickname?
Mildred.
Mildred? Because you called her Midge one time.
Well, yeah, Midge or Mildred.
Okay.
She was, yes.
Whose little baby bassinet is that?
Well, I think it's mine.
It is.
Yeah.
That's little baby Maxine. And tell us, what's your full name? Your full name when you were born.
Miriam Maxine Buten.
Miriam Maxine Buten.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you married Grandpa, you became Maxine
Welch.
Maxine Buten Welch.
Buten Welch.
Yep. Awesome.
Yes.
So where did you grow up?
In Marion, Ohio.
What was it like in Marion?
It was a smaller place than where I'm living now, but it was a nice place. It was a nice place to grow up.
In Marion, Ohio?
Marion, Ohio.
Yep. Do you remember what your elementary school name was?
No, but I know my first grade teacher was really something. Very nice. I loved her.
Is that why you became a teacher?
No, I have no idea.
Me either.
No, I
Because
think
you
a lot
taught
of little
kindergarten,
things-
didn't you?
I taught some kindergarten, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and I taught a little. I think mostly kindergarten.
Mostly kindergarten.
And then I became the
Librarian.
librarian. Yes, after I got my schooling done.
Yep. I want to talk about your schooling in a little bit, but when you were born, did you have any siblings?
No, I was the first one.
You're the oldest?
I'm the oldest.
Okay, who came after you?
Bill.
Bill?
Mm-hmm.
So it was Miriam, Bill, and then who came next?
Joe.
Joe.
No. Joe was the last one.
Joe's the baby?
Uh-huh.
Okay, who was after?
My sister Phyllis.
Oh, Phyllis, yep.
Phyllis Ann.
So you're the big sister.
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome. And then Bill, then Joe, and then Phyllis. No, Phyllis and then Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember what kind of jobs your parents did when you were little?
No, but we were, let's see, at some time when I was young, I can't tell you what day, well, how old I was, but I would say I was about 10. Somewhere around 8 to 10. And there was this terrible, what do you call it? Nobody had any money. Nobody had a job. It was terrible.
The Great Depression?
Yes. And at that point, my dad started his business.
Oh, yeah. And what was his business again?
Well, he was selling things, and mostly he sold the things that men use.
Pipes?
Pipes. And
Combs? Didn't he sell combs for the hair?
well, he probably did.
And
I
toothbrushes?
don't remember that. But he said mostly pipes.
Okay.
Yes. And that went pretty well. And then he would maybe try something else to add to it.
Mm-hmm.
He finally ended up with quite a company.
Oh, nice. Did he actually have like four walls and a ceiling, like a store?
No, not that kind.
Okay.
No.
Where did he sell his stuff at then?
He went around and talked to people.
Oh, like he
And-
just like
Yeah.
was a traveling salesman kind
Yeah,
of?
yes,
Oh, cool.
exactly.
Okay.
Uh-huh. He loved it.
Okay. And what did your mom do?
She didn't work. She just had kids.
She just had kids?
She but no, she didn't have a job. No, that's my dad and mom.
There's your dad and mom. I think this is you.
And I think it is too.
And this might be you right here. And then your brother Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And this is little Phyllis.
Mm-hmm.
So I bet, did you have to help your mom? Like, did you have any chores?
Oh yes, I was a second mother.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
What'd you have to do?
And just everything. And when she wanted to go out or they wanted to go somewhere, they let me in charge. Well, you know that doesn't go over very well.
Why?
Because my brother was, he didn't like the idea that I could tell him.
And what to do?
Yeah. So it didn't work as well as my mother hoped it would, I think. But we worked it out, yeah, and we both loved each other very dearly.
Do you have any happy memories, or what are your happy memories when you were a child? Family memories?
Well, we would go to places and nothing big, but we'd take rides outside of the city, and sometimes we would do that. And I don't remember going on a trip or having a special time that we went or a special place that we went. I don't. We did later when I was in high school, or in fact, even when I was in college.
Okay, so where did you go when you were in high school or college? What trips did you take?
We would all go to up north to the big lake up there.
So, like, what is that, Lake
And
Erie?
yeah, Lake Erie, and we'd have a place, and we'd all be in the same.
Like a lake house?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Like
fun.
a house. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And did you go boating and swimming in the lake?
Yes, we did it all. We had a good time.
Oh, that's lots of fun.
Hmm. My dad and I would play tennis.
Oh, there's a shocker. I didn't know you played tennis with your dad, though.
Well, though that was when I was just learning, and I wasn't very good, and he wasn't either because he never had done it. But we had a good time doing it.
Which sibling were you closest to?
I think Bill.
Bill?
Yeah, he and I were pretty good friends.
Except when you tried to tell him what to do.
Yeah, except for that. And Phil was always getting into trouble.
This might be Joe down here. This little tot.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I would bet that is.
Phil and Joe here. Phyllis here and Joe here.
That could be.
Yeah. So you said then you went to high school and college, and did you go to college right after high school?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And where did you go? Ohio University.
That's it.
I
yeah.
think there's pictures of you in those days. Let's see if we can find them. So you went to OU.
Yeah.
And at OU, what was your major? What did you go to college for?
To work in an office.
To work in an office?
Yes, it was a thing. It was all office work. That's what it was going to be.
Okay.
And it went for 2 years.
Okay.
Is that me?
So here's some pictures of you at Ohio University
Oh,
in
look at that.
1945. What's happening here?
Well, it looks like a bunch of girls
Just
in
having a
one
party,
room having
yeah.
a party.
Yeah. And here they are holding up pictures. It says war widows.
Oh,
Does that just does that I
I don't
does that
think,
just mean that they were away at war?
Mhm.
Yeah. So at this time, had you met Grandpa?
I met him in my first year there.
So maybe so then.
Yeah.
How did you meet him?
Oh, you want to hear that story?
Always.
Well, I hadn't noticed him at all, but he was one of the people that worked in the kitchen, and he would bring out the food and
Like the mess hall?
yeah,
Okay.
and he would. Apparently, he noticed me because one day he gave me 2 desserts. Yes. Well, that didn't go over too well with the rest of the girls, but at least I knew who he was.
Yeah.
After that.
He got your eye with that double dessert trick.
Yes, he did. And then he would come into the place where we could go to dance or play or anything, and after we ate dinner.
Oh yeah.
And he would, after he got his work done, he would come over and we would dance. We did that for a little while, and then we actually went out
On a date?
on a date.
Okay, so you used to dance after dinner when he got off work,
Yes.
and then he finally
And
asked you,
talk, and we got acquainted.
got acquainted.
Then we started taking walks together.
Would you say he was courting you?
Well, I think so.
You were flirting it up?
Anyway, it was very nice. And then he had a car,
Oh,
and when things, I don't know, he asked me to go out.
when it was time to take it up a notch?
And we were watching. The idea was we were going to watch our team in New York playing.
Football?
No, it was basketball.
The basketball team?
Yes, and that's what we did. We went to see it, and we had the radio. I guess we were going to listen to it,
Okay.
and
So your first date was listening to a sports game?
yes, but it was cold, very cold, and what am I saying? The front of the car.
Like the dashboard?
No, the
The
window
windshield.
got all covered up. It was really cold.
With fog?
And yeah. And he wrote on it, "I love you."
On your first date?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we'd been together, but we hadn't gone out together.
That's so sweet.
Well, it knocked me out. I couldn't believe it.
Did you say it back?
No, I wasn't ready.
Good for you, Grandma.
It was 1940 when I went to college for
It was-
2 years.
Okay. 1940 when you went to college?
Hmm
Okay.
He graduated at the end of my first year.
Grandpa graduated at the end of your first year?
Mhm.
So he was a couple years older than
He
you.
was
Oh, yeah.
one
he was-
year older.
Okay.
And I've always thought that we were meant to be because when I started to go to college, I was getting ready to go. I, in my mind, was going to go to Cleveland to be a nurse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's all I ever thought.
Okay.
And the very last week, I guess, it seemed to me like it was the last week, could have
That
been
last
a
moment
month.
possible, yeah.
I decided to go to college, and had I not done that, I wouldn't have met him there.
No. So something at the last moment.
It's one of those
changed
things
your
that
tracks.
with God, He'll tell you things. He figures it all out long before you do.
Yeah. So then we just figured out that you got married. Oh, look, right here. Maxine and Everett, 1942. September 26th. Is that when you got married?
Yeah, 1946.
September 26th, 1942.
42.
So were you done with school when you got married? Done with college at OU?
Oh, yes, with 2 years.
You were done at that point.
Yes.
Okay.
But then he was going to war, right? He had been called. And so we decided to go ahead and get married. And he knew that with probably a couple of weeks is about all he'd had.
And then he went off to war.
I wanted to go where he was.
Mm.
And that's what I did.
Where was he?
He was out in Oregon.
Oregon? And you went to Oregon?
Yep.
Okay, so here is your first son. And that was in, let's see here, 1944. So was this, here's a picture of you holding your first son, which is who?
Jim. This is Jim.
Little Jimmy Welch.
And there's his dad's picture.
There's his dad's picture. So is this before or after you went to Oregon?
Oh, this was after.
Okay. So you got married and you went to Oregon?
And we were there a good year, I
Okay.
think.
Okay.
And it was fine. We loved it. And then things got to the point where they were going to move. And so they did move to some place. And so I went the same way. You know, you wouldn't believe what you would do when you're young, you're in love, and you want to follow your lover.
Yeah. Well, I had a twin sister who followed her lover to Japan. So
That's right. That's right.
I do know.
That's right. So it's just it was just something. But I did come home pregnant.
You came home pregnant.
Yeah.
That'll get you.
And that's how little Jim was born.
At some point, you said you were a librarian when you finished your schooling. So did you have to do more school after your 2 years at OU in order to be a teacher and a librarian?
Mm-hmm.
So when did you do that?
When I was having children.
What? How could you were a mom and a student at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you do that? Where did you go?
Well, I didn't go all day. I would go at night.
Oh, wow. So you took care of the kids at daytime,
Mm-hmm.
and then you went to school at night?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I did that long enough to get a good degree. And it was pretty long.
A bachelor's degree?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Well, it was a long time, but, you know, it never seems that long when you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would go every day in the summer, and then the rest of the time I would just go 1 or 2 nights a week.
Okay.
And I was close enough to go to Miami.
Oh, wow.
And that's where
so
I
you
went.
got OU under your belt and Miami University?
I graduated from Miami.
What were your grades like?
They were all good.
And you graduated what? At what status?
The top.
Magna cum laude.
Magna cum laude. Do you
Yeah.
know this for fact, Jim?
It is a fact.
So you had kids, you went to school, and graduated magna cum laude.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And you had mentioned to me one time one of the things that you got to do that was pretty cool was like get all the books for a new library.
Oh yes, and that was fun. I did that for 3 schools. All the things that you would have in a library.
You got to set it all up.
Yes, everything.
Pick the books.
The books and all the places you would put the books and all the places you would sit.
Oh, very
all
cool. You
the
got to
furniture,
design all that and
all
pick out
of
the
it.
furniture?
All of it, yes.
Let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about when Grandpa came back from the war for good.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't going back. Where did you live?
We lived in Mount Healthy.
Mount Healthy.
Mount Healthy. Over a garage, a place where cars were taken care of.
Being worked in? You lived over
Yeah, and we were
like an apartment?
Yeah, upstairs.
Okay.
A lot of stairs. And Jim and I would go. He was just a baby,
Mm-hmm.
and we would go to the park every day to get out of that place for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that they were building pretty small houses, not too far from where we were. And we thought maybe we could get a house.
Okay.
So we went over and looked, and we liked the idea. And
Where at? In Mount Healthy?
in
or-
Mount Healthy.
Okay.
And we offered our money. We tried to get one. They told us we could not get one because we don't have enough money.
Okay. So how
So
did
that
you end
kind
up
of
getting
broke
one?
our heart for a while.
Yeah.
And then he was working, and it was summertime, and he was working at the school,
Mhm.
and he and another man were putting,
He meaning Grandpa?
yeah,
Okay.
filling the first winter
Like insulation?
No, coal.
coal. They
Oh,
were
okay.
putting
Fuel.
coal into the house, the school.
Okay.
And of course they got to be friends, and they started talking, and Ev just said one day, well, he said, you should live over here. And he said, well, we live in Mount Healthy, and we tried to get a house, but they told us we didn't have enough money.
Okay.
So we stopped for a while, and we'll try to save some money. And he said, I'll make you a house.
The guy he was shoveling coal with?
Yeah, well, we didn't know him. I didn't know him at all, and Ev didn't know much about him. But
And he
he
said
did
he-
know that he had been a builder.
Okay. And he just offered to build you guys a house?
Yes,
Oh,
and it was our first one, the little one. He asked us to give him $70 a month for that house. It was two bedrooms,
a 2-bedroom house.
and when we moved in, we had one child,
Okay.
and then we got another
Then you
child.
brought home Robin.
And they were both in the same room and both growing, and I guess Ev said something, or I said something, somebody said something about, well, we better get a bigger house. And he said, okay, I'll build you a bigger house.
The same person?
The same man.
The same man who offered to build you. So he built you a 2-bedroom on Banning Road. You had Jim there, and then you brought Rob there, and you started to run out of room. So he built you another house.
Right,
And is that the house that I know of that's on the corner of Pool and Weiss?
right, exactly.
Oh, wow.
And we were still paying the same amount of money.
$70 a month.
Yeah, he just changed it to that house. It's hard to even believe the things that have happened to us. Like, we felt when he was having trouble and I was doing work that I probably shouldn't be doing. And
He
we
was having trouble,
realized
like he wasn't
around
feeling
the
well?
house, you know,
Okay.
the walls, the outside.
Okay.
And we said the kids were gone except for everybody. They were all gone by that time, on their own somewhere or at school.
I remember that house. I remember swimming in that pool.
Yes, that was really good.
I remember sitting on a swing with you and you singing
Oh,
songs.
I remember that. I have a picture of that. I have a picture of that. Well, anyway, we started looking for condos so somebody else would be doing the outside work. And I said, well, I know some very nice over at just not too far from us, but it's not in Coleraine. He said, honey, we have to stay in Coleraine.
Oh gosh, you're in Grandpa's love for Coleraine.
I know.
So Grandpa said we have to stay in
He
Coleraine.
said I would feel terrible going out of Coleraine.
Okay.
So I said, well, we'll look in Coleraine. So we did, and where we're living now, we just, it was one of the houses, and there were several, and we parked and got out of the car and walked and ended up in front of this house,
This one here, this corner unit.
this condo. And the lady came out and said, could I help you? And we said, well, we're looking for a condo to buy. And we just came over here and started walking around. She said, well, I'm selling. we're buying a house. We're building a house.
Did you
And-
know it was for sale? Was there a for sale sign or anything?
No.
It just happened that she walked out?
Yep.
Oh my goodness, another God wink.
Another one.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Absolutely. Yes. She said, "Would you like to see the house?" And we said, "Sure." So we came in. We saw it, and we said to her, "Oh, we think we'd like to buy your house."
Just like that.
Yeah. Just like that. Well,
Wow.
you know, we've got the best one here.
Yes. What makes it the best one,
It
in your opinion?
well, it is back in the which we get the woods, and then that's a very big thing, the woods, and then we also have that big yard
Yeah.
in the front,
Yep.
and I just think, well, living here is just so peaceful.
Yeah.
It's so peaceful. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. It's a great place to live. You know, when you have 4 of them,
Yeah.
you get mixed up about who did what, which is nice in a way
Yeah.
because, you know, you're not saying something to somebody that they did it and they really didn't.
Who was a mama's boy?
You know the old story, boys will be boys, and they were all boys. And of course, Ev was coaching still when they were little. So I used to go when I just had Jim, and he and I would go. And then when Rob came along, it made it harder for me to go. And we were still in that little house, and and Ev went out and bought a TV. Now, if you can imagine what a TV was like at that age,
I cannot.
well, I can hardly. There was only one thing that was on, for one thing, and it was the girls running around
Roller skating.
roller skating all the way around. And they would, you know, they were nasty to each other and
Like
roller
derby?
Yeah, roller derby
What? That's the only thing that was on TV?
for a while.
What do you think is the biggest innovation, or what have surprised you the most in your 100 years?
Oh golly, let's see. I would imagine it's very hard because they've everything has changed and come up. And if I say the TV, then I'd say, oh dear, was it the TV or was it the cars? Or maybe it was something else. It was, I lived in an area, a time of everything pushing, you know, just busting out.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it was. Everything that started got better and bigger, and I just saw it all. And they're still doing it. They're still going up. They're still, TV is going up, and it's different from what we have. And cars, look at the cars. Now they drive themselves.
Yes, they do.
Well, I'd say that's pretty something.
You finally got an iPad?
I finally got an iPad.
You did.
But I still don't have one to carry around. I still go into my office and use my old
You're old.
piece of equipment, but it still works.
That antique computer in there?
Yeah. No, it's not antique, but it's pretty old. I don't remember how old it is.
And
But it's fairly old, but it does the job.
so what are you doing now in your free time? What do you like to do?
Well, I read. I still like to read. And on my free time, well, I was walking, but I can't do that right now.
How come?
So I walk on my.
Why can't you walk right
I can walk, but it's just hard
now? Okay.
because it isn't.
Yeah. Smooth.
It's up and down.
Yeah.
and it isn't as easy.
Mm-hmm.
So I've taken the easy way, and I'm using my
Treadmill.
treadmill every day, and I use my bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many pictures.
Mm.
Oh my goodness, I have so many pictures.
You do.
And I will not live long enough to get them all in a book. So maybe you can do it.
Is
after
that my
I'm
job?
gone.
Is to keep putting them in books? Okay. I can do that.
Anyway,
Yep.
that's a good thing. I'm a part of the group that runs the condos.
Oh, you're part of the like homeowners association or whatever it's called
yeah,
here.
Yeah. I'm on a board.
Mm-hmm.
And what else do I do?
What about that senior citizen group at the church that you and Grandpa started?
Oh, yes,
Prime
and
timers.
it's still going good.
The Prime Timers.
Yes, we did start that. It's called Prime Timers.
And then, are you still dancing for your church?
Oh, yes. And I feel so terrible, but they will not let me stop.
Why do you feel terrible about that?
I just feel like I don't have the time, the strength, that I don't get the things nice and easy and
The
clear.
routines?
Yeah, the routines. The last one was the easiest one because it wasn't footwork. It was all arms.
Well, there you go.
And that was very good.
So, tell us about when you found out that your dad was Jewish.
Well, I was in the car with my mother and her best friend. And I was laying down, and they thought I was asleep. But I heard every word they said. And my mother was talking to her friend and telling her how she found out that her husband was Jewish. She didn't know. And how it was a shock, but not enough to hurt. She went to visit his family, and everything was Jewish. All the food, all the talking and everything. And that's how she found out that her husband was Jewish. And we later found out that they came from tell me.
Russia?
Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And he and my dad and his dad left their home and somehow got to America.
If you could go back to visit your 10-year-old self,
Oh, 10 years old.
what would you say to her?
I'd say, honey, you got a long way to go.
That's pretty right.
Anything else besides buckle in?
Just get ready. It's going to take you a long time.
Any advice to get through the next 90 years?
Well, be as happy as you can, laugh as much as you can, enjoy yourself and everybody else, and try to be nice to people. And they'll be nice to you. And you'll have a good life.
Grandpa was very much a part of your life when he was here physically and not. Mm-hmm. So how do you know he's still with you today?
Well, I guess because we had so much love. When we started with love, and we just never changed. It just grew. Mm-hmm. And we had 52 years for it to grow. So I have felt that he's been with me all the time since he's gone. I see things that remind me of him almost every day. And a lot of it is the cardinals, because he loved them so much. And the cardinal that comes to see me in the morning, a lot of times, not every day, but so many times, the cardinal will come and stand on that little lap that's outside my door, my window, and I know that's him, just saying, "Hi, have a good day." I would never give up a second to see my family grow. It has been a wonderful, wonderful time, a wonderful life.
All right, so Grandma, everyone is gathered tonight, this evening, at this dinner to celebrate your 100th birthday. Is there anything you would like to say to them?
Well, I would say, I hope that Ev is watching. I am sure he is. And he's seeing all the people that came from him and I. And it is an amazing thing to have family like that. It's just, when you think about it, we were very young. We had a child, and then we had another one. We had 4. And from those 4 are all these people sitting here. And it's just, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. God has been so good to us as a group, as a family. We've had things happen, of course. We weren't, nothing is always perfect. But for the most of it, everybody has grown up to be very good people. Going to school and doing the things that they should do. So it makes me feel very, very happy that there are so many of you and you're all so good. And I'm sure that Ev, were he here, would say, "You did it right." And that's what I would say. We did it right.